Hey everyone, it's Libby from maighstirtarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people. It's WORIMI, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Entertainment only. Okay, where do I start with this one? I was down a big rabbit hole with Paul Tatum yesterday. I do apologise. I've got a shocking frog in my throat today. I often get the coughing when the energies of a certain orange dude is getting congestive lung failure, so heart failure, congested lungs, drowning in fluid, etc. So just keep an eye out for the news tonight in regards to that, because it feels like it's actually mounting. And I believe being 15 or whatever hours behind in the US, you guys are going into your late evening. I'm going to pause you for a second and have a really good cough. Hang on. Right, let's see if that made a difference. I should have a glass of water, but hopefully this won't be a long video. Okay, I was right down those. Let's start again. Right down that rabbit hole with Paul Tatum yesterday. Paul Tatum was a dual citizen US-Russian property developer who met an untimely end in November of 1996 down in a metro system, subway system, with 10 pieces of lead to the above the neck. There were some interesting ties there, interesting cards that came out yesterday. Oh my goodness, leading back to the Steele dossier. One viewer said, oh, the Steele dossier was proven to be a hoax. Excuse me, no, it wasn't. If you are listening to those that are claiming it's a hoax, perhaps you need to extend your research into, just look at the Wikipedia pages about the Steele dossier. Into some factual information. However, not going into that today, covered that a bit yesterday. Man, one could spend hours and hours and hours going down these various tunnels. But what actually caught my attention was that in November 1996, at the same time that Mr. Tatum found his untimely end, there were certain individuals in Moscow. One of them being the Orange Twerp, over there discussing a potential twerp tower in Moscow. Along with him was a certain Leon Black. Where have we heard that name? Tied up in the Epps files. The son of Leon Black, Ben, is currently been appointed by the Orange Twerp as the head of the Committee for Foreign Aid or something. So he's got his fingers in all the US aid pies. I wonder where that money went. This corkboard I've got with all this string connecting all these people together, like in the old cop shows, you can't see the cork for the string. Oh my goodness, it's just covered in red string. Anyhow, so it turns out that apparently a certain Leon Black was there at the same time. Now, I haven't actually researched terribly much because I'm on grandma duties this afternoon and I had to leap on fairly quickly. But it turns out that these dudes or duds were in Moscow at the same time, along with a guy called Howard Lorber, who was the CEO of Vector. And they met with a guy called David Giovannis, Geovanis. Now, David Giovannis is a Moscow-based dual citizen, just like Tatum was, and he was Vector's Moscow real estate developer. However, apparently, and this is on record, several witnesses testified to a Senate Congressional Committee that Giovannis had compromat intel on the Orange Twerp. They're all interconnected. How on earth did he end up in the White House in the first place? Australia refused Trump a casino license back in the 1980s, declaring him a due to his ties to the Russian mafia. I mean, for the Australian Federal Police back in the 80s, corrupt as they were, could have identified this. Oh, so I'm going to have a little dig down this rabbit hole. Now, I also had noted down for today the young Republicans that found themselves exposed, but I'm not going to actually, icky, icky, icky. And if you look at the photos of the ones involved, man, they couldn't get a date if they bloomin' paid for it. And it looks like they did pay for it and ended up feeling regretful and self-loathing. If you look at these images again, entertainment only, allegedly, but the photos I've seen of these young Republican National Federation. Actually, I'm going to throw a couple of cards on them just very quickly just to see how they feel, because they were exposed. Telegram messaging. Basically, they had something called a Restory war room or something stupid. They were trying to be Steve Bannon types, vilifying minority groups, referencing to unaliving political rivals, declaring that RAP-ing was epic. Just vile humans. Now, what's happened? I'm just going to actually throw a couple of cards on this, because apparently the White House came out with a statement and said, we know nothing. We are not affiliated with this group. We have nothing to do with this group. We do not support this group, blah, 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 blah. You know that they've fully supported them. Absolutely. And you know it's from the same behind the scenes shadow government wheelhouse that these young Republicans have come from. But how are they feeling? Just very quickly, how are they feeling having been dissed, ghosted, tossed on the trash heap by the White House? In other words, not protected. How do they feel? Not very happy. Chaotic message. I mean, the messaging's out there. It's turned into an absolute disaster mess. They're desperately trying to get to the safe haven of the White House, but the White House just keeps moving further and further away from them, feeling abandoned with the chaotic mess that they've created for themselves. The challenge is the secret meetings going on behind the scenes. But you, no, we didn't. This is damage control pretty much from the White House. Feeling abandoned on the high seas. The plan coming to fruition, but the ships are sailing out again. Woo! White House is fleeing. They thought what they were talking about, Queen of Pentacles, they thought it was private and secret and protected. Wonder who leaked it. Crowning over them was this disappointment in the agreement. I would put money on, but I'm not going to because it's not worth my time, or my 50 cents that I would lay bets on, that they actually had behind the scenes backing of the regime. And all of a sudden they've been caught out. Now that they've been exposed, they've found that this agreement, contract, or whatever it was that they've had is not worth the paper it's written on. Okay, going forward, Temperance, pouring from cup to cup, trying to, this will be the White House trying to spin and distance themselves. How are they feeling? Stabbed in the back, betrayed. Absolutely good internally. The King of Cups. Why did I get Vault? Vault? V-O-U, Russell Vault. Is he a Pisces or something from memory? Internally. So stabbed in the back, and they're talking via whoever their contact on the inside is, because this is internal. Diplomatic. I think they're being advised by someone inside the regime. Hopes and fears, the Chariot, the chaotic mess. Their money's been cut off. I'm going to say their money's been cut off due to their foolishness of being exposed. and they're going to find themselves restricted, ignored, ghosted. How are they feeling? Not happy. However, you've got this hard work that goes on behind the scenes, but also money trail for the Emperor. So, and on the back foot, defensive. Okay, I am. And then the emotionally overwhelming and the investigation. And then the loss and disappointment. We've got on the bottom the judgment card, cast out in the cold, being forced to slink away and stopped. The happy families that was all well and good is at an end. So they've been ghosted. They're finding themselves ghosted and abandoned by the regime, which has really caught them. They thought the regime had their back. We've got volatile messaging coming out now that it is the signal, the Telegram chats. Are they going to turn on the regime? Are these young Republicans, because they are emotional? They talk about women being emotional, but these young men. Okay, the White House is considering legal action here, but we've got secrets being revealed. Karma coming and biting them on the bum, the Hierophant, the Hanged Man, the Ace of Cups. On the defensive about the plans and volatile messaging in the past. The circles of support, the young people coming out and talking and then walking away. Are they going to turn on the regime? Are these young Republicans? Okay, what I'm getting told is that they're being advised to just shut up and go away. But these are, right up in their feels, incels, allegedly, entertainment only, who I suspect won't appreciate being told to stay quiet and back and go away. Right, if something's happening where they're being restricted. Are these young Republicans going to turn on the regime? Are they going to turn on the regime? So they've basically been told, shut up and go away. Shut up and go away. The emotions are going to then run high, and they consider themselves as having put in a lot of hours and a lot of work and a lot of money raising for this regime. This is the apprentice who's not getting the appreciation from the master. Okay. They're discussing what to do, coming up with a strategy internally as they find themselves, these are people who have money, who think they're all that in a cup of tea, but they don't play in the same league. Nightmare situation as the wheel turns. And then we've got the Ten of Wands. Are they going to turn on them? I think they might. I think they might in some way. This is very much about trying to work out what to do, coming up with a strategy to maintain their positions now that they've been sort of cast off. Bringing an end, chaotic messaging, turning things into a nightmare situation as the Wheel of Fortune turns. I think they're going to try. I don't know that they're going to succeed with that Ten of Wands because they can't get that chaotic messaging to the finish post. But yeah, they're feeling really, really not happy. Okay, I'm going to put those cards to the side because my guides are telling me to. And let's have a look. I'm going to use the Runic Tarot. I'm going to leave the cheat sheet in there. The Runic Tarot. It's a dark deck. for dark readings. Let's have a look. Moving to, they're just in it. These young Republicans, they are just in such a different league of being down there, while you've got these Leon Blacks and Russell Voigts and etc. up there. These dudes think they're playing with the big boys, but no, they're not. Nowhere near. Okay, I want to have a look at what do we need to know about, well, you've got the King of Pentacles, the oligarchs, the David Javanis's and the Leon Blacks, etc., the Howard Laubers, living in the life of luxury, issuing orders from their bearskin rug, just collecting trophies, etc. What do we need to know about this connection? What do we need to know about this connection? No, we don't need to know anything. Thank you. They're telling me no, back off. Right. Yeah, the Hermit card. Back off from this. They're telling me to back off. Plant the seeds. It's the Ten of Wands. I've brought the information. Plant the seeds. Let it go forward, because those that are involved, Seven of Pentacles, with their money that they will end up not being able to reap, have a target on their back, and it's not for me to sacrifice myself to tell. Okay, well, that went nowhere fast. That was a quick reading. Just know that there are connections there, that it was brought to the attention of Congress. I don't know when. I didn't look it up, but oh man, we are in the midst of a massive unraveling, and unravel it will. And when it does, it will be enormous, and we will be shocked at who is involved, and we will be shocked. Well, some of us will be shocked. Well, you and I won't. Those who aren't completely oblivious will be shocked at the extent of this and what is involved. I'm going to leave it there before I get myself into trouble. Okay, love to you all. Take care.